Imagine walking into your family home expecting peace and security, only to discover your parents brutally murdered. For Lyle and Erik Menendez, this wasn't just a nightmare, it was their reality. But as the investigation unfolded, the chilling truth shocked the world. The killers weren't strangers, they were the sons themselves. What could push two young men to commit such a heinous act? Was it greed, or something even darker? Jose Menendez was the epitome of the American dream. A Cuban immigrant who made his way to the top of Hollywood's corporate world, he provided his family with every luxury imaginable. His wife Kitty, the boy's loving mother, and their two sons, Lyle and Erik, lived in a Beverly Hills mansion, seemingly the perfect life. But behind the lavish exterior there were deep cracks. On the night of August 20th, 1989, those cracks shattered. The Menendez home became the site of a horrific double murder. That was the moment that rocked Beverly Hills. Lyle and Erik Menendez, 21 and 18, called 911, reporting that they found their parents dead. Jose Menendez had been shot in the back of the head, execution style. Kitty's death was even more savage. She'd been shot 12 times, her blood staining the floor as she tried to crawl away. Initially, the police thought it was a mob hit or a robbery gone wrong. After all, Jose Menendez had a high-profile job and powerful enemies. But soon, their attention turned to someone much closer, the Menendez brothers themselves. It didn't take long for suspicion to grow. Just days after the murders, Lyle and Erik began spending exorbitant amounts of money, buying luxury cars, designer clothes, even expensive watches. Their behavior was odd, especially for two grieving sons. To the public, their spending spree seemed bizarre, but to the police, it was like a motive. As the investigation deepened, the brothers' carefree attitudes, combined with their new lavish lifestyle, made them prime suspects. And while they thought they were in the clear, one confession would change everything. The break in the case came when Erik Menendez, weighed down by guilt, confessed to his psychologist. The truth came out. He and his brother Lyle had killed their parents. And suddenly, the investigation shifted from an outside job to an inside betrayal. But the question everyone wanted answered was, why? What could make two brothers commit such a brutal act against their own parents? In court, the brothers claimed that their father was not the loving patriarch he seemed to be. They said that behind closed doors, Jose Menendez was a tyrant, emotionally, physically, and sexually abusive. They also said their mother, Kitty, knew and did nothing to stop it. The brothers testified that years of torment led them to believe that the only way out was murder. The defense painted Lyle and Erik as victims, driven to desperation. But the prosecution had a simpler explanation: greed. They argued that the brothers wanted their parents' fortune and were unwilling to wait for it. After 2 trials and a hung jury in the first, the brothers were convicted of first-degree murder. Lyle and Erik Menendez were sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Gone were the sports cars, the designer clothes, and the Beverly Hills mansion. Their new reality was life behind bars. To this day, the brothers maintain that they acted out of fear and desperation, claiming they were victims of abuse. But others argue that they were motivated purely by greed. The Menendez case continues to spark debate and fascination, leaving one question hanging in the air: were they monsters or victims of their circumstances? What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more stories that challenge what we think we know.